everyone, Kristen here. As you know, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. And today I'm going to show you how I take one large pack of ground beef and turn it into 3 delicious, easy, freezer-friendly meals that your family's going to love. You can use these for meal prep, or like I'm doing today, you can prep them ahead and send them off with your college-age student or to a friend just to stock their freezer with a little bit of love. So let's break this down. Let's start with the chili so the Instant Pot can do the heavy lifting while we prepare the rest. Turn your Instant Pot to saute and let heat briefly. Once heated, add in 2 pounds of ground beef along with 1 yellow onion that's been finely diced. Saute that up, breaking into bite-sized pieces as the meat cooks. Once it's just about fully browned, add in 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and toast briefly. At this point, you can drain off any excess grease or use a paper towel to blot off some of the grease like I'm doing today. With your Instant Pot still on the saute function, add in 1/2 cup of pale lager beer. If you don't cook with alcohol, you can use 1/2 cup of beef stock. Let it simmer while you scrape up any brown bits on the bottom of the inner pot. Those brown bits equal flavor and prevent a burn notice from happening. Hit cancel to turn off the saute function, and then to finish up this chili, add in 1 cup of low sodium beef broth, 2 tablespoons of chili seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and 2 cans of kidney beans that have been rinsed and drained. Give that a stir to combine, and then top with 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes. Don't stir. Trust me, this keeps your Instant Pot happy. Pop the lid on your Instant Pot and set to cook for 15 minutes on high pressure. While our chili's pressure cooking, let's use that time to prep our meatballs. In a large bowl, mix together 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs. Panko is key to keep these meatballs light and fluffy. 1 large egg, 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1/4 cup of milk, any fat percentage, 1/4 cup of low sodium beef stock, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt, 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of dried parsley, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. That's a lot of seasonings, but these meatballs pack flavor. Mix that well until it's nice and incorporated. Once combined, we're adding in 2 pounds of our ground beef here. And we want to mix this gently just to combine. We don't want to overwork the meat so that our meatballs turn out nice and tender and not tough. I find your hands work best. Once combined, scoop and roll into about 1-inch meatballs. A small cookie scoop makes the process easy. Place the meatballs onto a rimmed baking sheet, and then once they're all shaped, add about 3/4 cup of beef stock around the meatballs. Trust me on this. This is going to help steam the meatballs and keep them moist and tender instead of dry and tough. We're gonna bake these at 450 degrees for 18 to 22 minutes. Now for our last recipe, I'm adding in the final 2 pounds of beef to a large stock pan. I'm gonna brown that up until it's nice and cooked through, breaking it up into bite-sized pieces. Once it's fully brown, I'm gonna drain off the excess grease, and then we're gonna transform this into my famous taco meat, which is good for so many recipes. To do this, we're adding in 1 cup of plain tomato sauce, 1/2 cup of water, and 4 tablespoons, or about 1/4 cup of taco seasoning. We're gonna let that simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes until it's nice and thickened. We did it. We took 1 pack of meat and we turned it into 3 delicious meals that really will feed us for more than 3 meals. We're gonna let everything cool to room temperature. Super, super important so that we don't have ice crystals form on our chili or taco meat or meatballs. And then once it's frozen, we're gonna package them up, label them, and stock our freezer. For our meatballs, we're gonna take it a step further. We're gonna pop them on a rimmed baking sheet that's been lined with parchment paper, pop them into the freezer to flash freeze them for about 30 to 60 minutes. This will keep them nice and separate so we can pull out just as many meatballs as we need from our freezer bag. Once everything is ready to go, package, and make sure you clearly label the package with the contents and the date so you know exactly what you're pulling from your freezer. Your future self is gonna thank you, whether you're pulling dinner for yourself out of the freezer or your college students calling home to say thanks mom for dinner. Regardless, you can't go wrong. And for those nights you have nothing to pull from the freezer, be sure to catch my next recipe where I walk you through how to make crazy easy dump and cook salsa chicken. Until next time, happy cooking.